People definitely do not realize everything that's going on when they go to buy their bouquet at the grocery store or wherever they're going, the retail shop, whatever. I mean, those things have exchanged hands probably upwards of 10 times, from the harvest to the store. And it's logistics all the way through, man, quite honestly, I mean, obviously there's production and all that, but logistics is a key component to the floral industry, just because everything is working off a real-time inventory, you know what I'm saying? And the timing with the perishable goods is so key and critical.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now you started Floral Trade Distributors how long ago?
2012. So
2012. Yeah. So what's that? 10, 12 years? 13 years?
Yeah,
almost?
we're going on 13.
Okay, but you've been in this industry
My
for
whole life. Yeah,
longer than that.
Yeah.
Born and raised. Tell me about your background in the floral industry.
Yeah, so my father, without going too deep, he moved out to AZ in '86 and started Arizona Floral Exchange, which is a wholesale house. And people don't realize, I guess, the blue collar aspect of the wholesale industry. They think, oh, you work with flowers, man. That's kind of weird. It's like, but.
What's up, y'all? It's Ramel from Truck and Hustle, and I am super excited to announce that we are finally launching our Truck and Hustle Entrepreneurs Community. This is a place where entrepreneurs just like you can connect, collaborate, partner, and win together. Everybody's been asking me for years, man. They say, Ramel, you have such a crazy network. All these people who have been on the platform. You need to create something where everybody can come together and work together. And that's what we've done here with the Truck and Hustle Entrepreneurs Community, man. You'll see people from Truck and Hustle along with other business people that you see out there in the world moving and shaking. You guys can collaborate, network together, and win together. Go to the description right now and sign up for our first inaugural event. It's called Contracts and Cash Flow. This event is going to set the tone for your business in 2025. I know we're almost in the second quarter, so we got to hurry up, man. We got to get things moving. So let's make it happen. Click, join the community, and let's go. See you guys in a couple weeks.
The wholesaler is basically, obviously, the middleman, right, that's dealing with the farms and the shippers, and then basically processing all those products and then reselling it to the retailers that most people know of, right? So I grew up on that side of the business, just learning all the different flowers as far as varieties, types, shelf lives, cleaning the coolers, everything's in water all the time. Things got to be processed and cleaned, come out of boxes and all that kind of stuff. And I actually drove a bucket truck for him through the Phoenix area. So that was, I guess, a little bit, in a weird way, kind of how my trucking career started. I was never, I kind of fell into the trucking thing, which we'll talk about. But so just, learn the ranks from sweeping the cooler floors, for my old man, slowly getting into sales. And then, like I said, running the bucket trucks, doing some buying, from the West Coast at that time. Like I said, we were in Phoenix. And yeah, you just could learn the ins and outs of the industry on that side of things, quite honestly.
Got it. So the wholesaler is the middleman,
Right?
Right. So you guys will get the flowers from the farms,
Correct.
And then you said they process them there.
Right.
What does process mean? What does talk about that?
So processing is basically, everything's palletized, comes dry packed in boxes. So, we're taking them out. We got to give them fresh cuts. You put them in water. They call it chop and drop, right? So you're basically, you got pallets coming off the truck. You're opening boxes, processing them out, making them look pretty more or less, getting them hydrated, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And then
like packaging them, basically, like getting them ready to be on the shelf somewhere.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, then it's also, maintaining the, because as a wholesaler, you're holding inventory, you know what I'm saying? So you're also maintaining the shelf life of the product as well. So, you don't always, when things come in, they're not necessarily sold, especially as a wholesaler, right? So you got to understand, what needs each individual product has. Every flower has some different needs for the most part, so, and some have longer shelf lives than other, and just, understanding and learning that whole piece of things,
How many different types of flowers are coming through a warehouse?
Oh man, I mean hundreds.
Hundreds of.
Yeah. I mean, and it depends on the warehouse, but
and do all those flowers have different like treatment that they need, or is it For the most part, the same.
For the most part, the cold chain is the same, right?
Okay.
Which is 36 degrees, and what that does primarily is it freezes time in the biological life of the flower, right? So as long as you're keeping it in cold air, which is cold chain, so important, especially through the logistics chain of it. For the most part, you're doing good. But there are definitely some flowers that are more delicate to cold or hot or water even. And, they get saturated, they get moldy. They got this, this fungus called botrytis it's actually an airborne fungus that can spread through the whole cooler. So, it's flowers, man. They're delicate. They want to be TLC. They want to be loved on.
What's the life expectancy of most flowers? Like from the time you get them from the farm to it comes to you to be processed, it goes to the stores or the retailers. Like how long do you have before that flower is no longer able to be sold?
On a wholesale level?
On a wholesale level.
A week.
About a week.
Yeah, 7 to 10 days.
So you're moving in flowers every week. They're moving in and out. They don't sit much longer than that.
It's usually most wholesalers are receiving trucks twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the size of the wholesaler and depending on where they're located. Obviously some spots are easier to get to than others. You know what I'm saying? So you got more trucks that are running through there. But 2 to 3 times a week, they're usually restocking or. They kind of plan their buying accordingly, like a lot of their events and stuff that are on the weekends, they'll maximize those, they'll have bigger loads that come in on Thursdays, and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's the wholesale side of the game. That's not even the box store side of the game, which is the mass markets and the large retailers. That's a whole nother animal.
That's a whole other side.
Yeah.
And just quickly, we'll move on, but how did your dad even get into that?
So he managed a wholesale house up in Grand Rapids, Cleveland Plant Flower Company, and then him and his brother-in-law, they went and started up a small little wholesale outfit in Richmond, Virginia, and family businesses can be tough, so they went their own way, and at that time in '86 the Phoenix market was pretty wide open. So they wanted to get out of the cold, and they were born and raised in the Midwest area, so like Rockford, Illinois kind of area. So he went out there and he started up AFX, man, and he was actually the original bucket truck wholesaler out there. So that was kind of his niche within the niche. You know what I'm saying?
Explain what that means when you say the bucket truck wholesaler.
So a bucket truck is basically, it's a large box truck that has like these shelving units within the box, and they put buckets in them. And so you're driving around to all the retailers on a bucket route, and you're selling right off the back of your truck. So
you're saying he originated that concept?
No. So they were doing that on the East Coast.
Okay.
But it hadn't been done yet in Phoenix,
Got
right?
it.
He was the original bucket truck guy. So now there's several.
Tons of them.
Several. Well, not tons, man. I mean, honestly, it's a tight circle, man. As far as and the wholesaler side of the game is phasing out. Quite honestly, man. Things are moving more and more to the big box stores, mass markets. It's all about convenience for people and price, right? So the brick and mortar retail shops that wholesalers would typically sell to, they're going away, man. Everything's online, everything's e-commerce, or they're going, picking up flowers at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or whatever. And so, you got basically your event people that are putting together big events and stuff. But yeah, so they would drive around town basically, and you would pull right up to the retail shop or some grocery stores and stuff, and they come right back up. They come up on the back of the truck, and they're shopping right off the back of the truck, right? So it was a good way to get your communication skills intact, and you're dealing with people, and so it was good, man. I mean, that's where I learned all my flower knowledge, quite honestly, man. I was growing up through that, and then. You want me to continue on?
I want you to continue.
Okay.
So first, how large did he grow that business?
So that business, like revenue style?
Yeah, revenue-wise. And then tell me about how that business dissolved. Or is it still going?
No, my brother's running it today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my brother's running it today. Yeah.
Okay, so that business is still going.
It's changed quite a bit. Now they're doing more of what it's called sympathy work, right? So they have contracts with the Dignity Funeral Homes in the Phoenix area, which is like a chain of like 20 to 30 funeral homes, where they actually provide the finished product for the sympathy flowers and stuff. So
Okay.
their business model has changed some. They still do wholesale and such, but it's kind of steered more in that direction. So, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say that business runs at 2 to 3 million kind of thing.
Okay.
But it was a solid. I don't want to say a cash cow, but you know what I mean. But the profits were good, and it was ran well, and the customers were loyal. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of a turnkey thing. So it's a good little niche, man, that they're doing over there. So it's one thing that I've definitely learned going through this is it ain't about the gross, man. It's all about the net. It's all about the net.
That's for sure.
I'd much rather be doing 2 to 3 million. Netting 30% than doing 10 million and, netting 2.
All right, y'all, listen, I'm happy to announce that we finally launched our YouTube memberships. Listen, if you want to support Truck and Hustle for all the hard work that we've been doing over the past 5 years, this is where you need to be. As a part of our memberships, number one, you'll get exclusive access to all of our archive content. Number two, we'll be doing at least one live webinar with one of the guests or somebody else from our network that you love to continue to add value to you and your business. Third, we'll be having exclusive behind the scenes content that we shoot and doesn't, make the final cut. So make sure you go check it out. Get that subscription right now and join us, man. TNH forever. Let's go. All right, guys, if you love Truck and Hustle and you love the interviews and the information that we're providing week to week, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. All right, Hustle fam.